She's awesome. Christina, can we just start that? She is awesome. She's amazing. We're going to watch a quick intro video in a second here. You can put the front slide on if you'd like. That'd be great. But I do want to mention something. So, how many of y'all are familiar with The Secret? How many of y'all are familiar with millions and millions of dollars? How many of y'all would like millions and millions of dollars? How many of y'all make a lot of money and yet you don't know? But you make money, but you just don't know how to work that money. She's going to teach you how to work that money. Because a lot of you in the room, and myself included years ago, I didn't know what to do with this. And I was wasting it. How many of y'all know somebody that makes money but wastes it at the same time? Y'all with me on this? Okay. And raise your hand again. And if it's you, just be like, that. Okay, right? So what we need to do is change it around. And I do want to mention something. Have you noticed through this Habitude Warrior Conference for the last day and a half, have you noticed that all of our speakers, we give, correct? Yep. And you guys are cool with that, right? Yep. Great. So what I do is I only allow a few speakers to be able to offer something to the crowd, because I never like have you ever been to an event where it's all like pitch? Y'all with me on this? Everyone go, oh bad, right? Yeah. So we didn't want to do that. So what I do is I do allow one or two or three throughout the whole 3-day conference to be able to do that. And Loral's one of them, and I highly recommend take advantage of what she has to offer, because I've seen somebody, can I see an amen on that? I know some of you are Loral's clients already, and it has changed people's lives. So please listen to her, she's amazing, and if you feel inclined to take advantage of what she has to offer towards the end, do it. And she's got a lot of great, Loral, you got a lot of great goodies as well, right? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna watch a video now. That started early.
Every small business owner has to have a mentor. A mentor is someone who has walked the path before you. So their job, I think, and I've had mentors since I was 17, that was just a few years ago. If you have the intention of becoming an entrepreneur and making money and getting wealthy, then you form your corporation right now. Instead of focusing on what you can't have and the struggles, you focus on what you can have. And so like the illegal conversations I say at home is you don't say what you can't afford, you say, well, how can we afford it? I mean, last I checked, and I always say this kind of funny, but Christopher Columbus did not discover America so we could have jobs. I mean, he discovered it for entrepreneurialism, for freedom, and we have lost it. We lost it generations have lost it. It is time to bring spirit back. I mean, that's where the money's made. It's I want to be a millionaire, and I'm going to change my choices, my way of living, and really get in action around creating that for myself and my life. The traditional financial planning world doesn't work if you really want to be wealthy. The traditional financial planning world is designed that you maybe stay stable. It designs you to make less as you get older. Hi, this is Loral Langemeier, the Millionaire Maker. I want you to follow me on Instagram. Make sure you turn on your post notifications so you get all my messages. What we talk about in the Millionaire Maker is money makeovers and how do you really recreate. Most people are focusing on debt. What we want you to focus on is creating more. I'd say 80% of my coaching that I do in one-on-one with folks is about their psychology and the way they think. You know, you can run from creditors, but you can't run from your credit score. You really have to get your money working for you. Most people don't know how to invest. They're investing poorly, they're in single-digit numbers. Millionaires don't do that.
You guys, let's get up. Stand up, guys. Stand up and give a warm, awesome San Diego Habitude Warrior. Amazing welcome to Miss Loral Langemeier, ladies and gentlemen. Up here for Loral. They don't want to make money.
They don't want to make money. Stand up.
I'll ask for
Stand up. You make these guys stand up. Here, like push them a little. Go. Get up. All right, how's y'all doing today? And thank you, Mr. Awesome. Are you going to be videotaping? Just hanging out up here with me?
Okay, good. All right, I'll do my thing. All right, how many of you seriously want to make some money? How many of you want to be millionaires? How many of you are millionaires? Awesome. Well done. Well done. So how many of you want more millions? How many of you millionaires or 100,000-years want to pay less taxes? Especially in this state. You know, I lived in California for 13 years, and then I moved across to Lake Tahoe, Nevada, on the state line's Upper Cove side, just for Nevada taxes. So we're going to teach you all how to do that. All right, so we're going to take a very quick quiz, and when you flunk, you sit down. All right? So, I'm going to do a quiz, and it's based on the Millionaire Maker book. I wrote this in 2006, and it was really documenting how millionaires are made. And there's several things that all millionaires have. So if you have this, you stay standing. If you don't, you flunk, you sit down. It's not musical chairs. You can't stand back up. Deal? Deal. Yeah? Yes? Yes. All right, so first thing is you got to have the right attitude and energy around money. So if you don't have yes energy, I call it, where you say yes, you figure things out, you're optimistic, you don't worry about the how, you just know your why and your what. All right, so if you don't have yes energy, have a seat. Here's what no energy sounds like. If you say things like, I can't afford it, have a seat. If you say things like, I don't have time, have a seat. We all have the same clock, by the way. If you say things, here's my favorite money excuse. If you say things like, I'm not ready. How can you not be ready to handle money? You handle money every damn day. Like, how do you not get ready? You're already doing it, interestingly. I want to say it's wrong, it's just interesting. All right, number two, you have to know where you are. If you don't know your financial situation, your income, expenses, cash flow, assets, liability, net worth, if you don't know where you are financially, have a seat. If you don't know your goal, like we call it Freedom Day. What's your big number? Is it 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 50,000 a month? What's your number? If you don't know a number, have a seat. And by the way, yell out your numbers so I see how big the room's thinking. 2 million?
10 million.
Here's something. What's your monthly number? 20? How many want 50? How many want 100? How many would just like 10 consistently? I know, I always have to throw that in. All right, the next one is your relationship to debt. Very cool pink shoes. So, your relationship to debt. So, I'm not going to talk more about this, but if you are unwilling to understand good debt and like the use of credit cards, have a seat. All right. How many of you have a business? How many of you have real estate? If you are not in an LLC, a limited partnership, an S Corp or a C Corp or a trust, have a seat. That's a big one, California folks. I could save you 20, 30, 40 grand in taxes right there. Right there. The next one is if you don't know how to find or invest in 10% or more returns. If you don't know how to find investments that make at least double digits, have a seat. You are my fastest millionaires. It's so easy. And the last one, if you do everything by yourself. You have no team. You do everything. I call it the solopreneur. When I hear solopreneur, I feel like I hear pain, like in suffering. Like, why would you do anything by yourself? You're no good at half the stuff you try to do, right, as an entrepreneur. So, no team, no accountant, no lawyer, no assistant, no home chef, no, you do everything alone. Have a seat. All right, well, look at this. We got about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This is good. It's about 30 people standing up. Give them a hand. Look at that. Awesome. All right, nice. So, those of you that were standing at the end, you're most on your way to having a system to become a millionaire. Now, I put some things in front of you, and I have 41 and 10, so I got to talk fast, so you got to speed up. How many of you have ever been told to slow down? Okay, here's my saying. I'm not slowing down, you speed up, my speed's working. You guys got it? And you only slow down or adjust to accommodate others. And I'm not saying that to be rude, but when you are really good and you know something, right? How many of you are really good and you know something? You have a gift, I call it. Right? You're not slowing down. You're going to keep moving. All right? Deal? All right. So I put 3 things in front of you. Does everybody have one of these items? Yes. If you don't, Muriel, come on out, raise your hand, and the team will go. Can somebody else help Muriel? Pass some stuff out. Pat, can you help? So keep your hand up and just pass them down the row. All right, so here's, you're all going to need one. Pass. Here, do you want mine? Just take mine. Actually, let me talk about it, then you can take one. All right. So, this is what I call your wish list. So what you're going to do on your wish list is you're going to write your name and email really clearly. clearly, and I'm going to send you gifts. So on the back, as I talk, you're going to write things you want. So as Californians, one of the things you're going to want is a tax return review. So if you have not done your taxes, which you shouldn't have already, yes, it's April, you should have done an extension. I'll teach you about that in a minute. I have a cool kids program. It says never pay your kid an allowance. I know how to get your kids to millionaire status. I know how to have your college paid for as a business expense instead of a cost and a top line expense. What else can I offer you? I have all sorts of stuff. Women, I have a cool program. It's called The Man Is Not a Plan. They're super helpful and lovely. My husband's right back there from Canada. He met me at one of these workshops. I say that he stalked me. He says I stalked him. It doesn't matter. We got married a year later. So on here, the other thing too about your email, if you please write it clearly, I'm going to send you copies of my Millionaire Maker book. Is that a deal? Okay. And will you read it if I send it to you?
Yes.
So I'm going to send you ebook copies and anything on the back that I talk about. Like those of you who sat down on, you don't have a company, you don't have an LLC, put an entity review. That's called an entity. Right? So then we'll give you an entity review. We're going to do all sorts of goodies. Is that a deal? Okay? Make sure you write down your information. And if you want my team to call you to have a money makeover, how many of you love to have a one-on-one private money makeover? And if you have, that's it? Come on. So write it down. The other thing is, this is our millionaire system. So I gave you this to take home, put on your refrigerator. You're going to take some notes. And what we're talking about is cool workshops coming up. So that's your invitation that I'm going to talk to you about. Is coming to see me, and we'll be in Orange County. That's my birth week. I don't think you have a birthday. It's just birthdays are too short. I think you actually have a birth month. Right? So that is my birth week. So we will, I'm sure, have extra parties. So you can just zoom up the road to Orange County, come to Vegas next month, or come to Dallas in September. All right. So we're going to give you an invitation to go see those. Oops. Whoa. Here you go. All right, so let's get going. So how many of you seriously want to learn about money? How many of you were taught about money? Okay, so what were you taught? I mean, obviously you guys are millionaires, so who taught you about money?
Mark Hughes, original founder of Herbalife, Jim Rohn, one of the leads.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Who else?
Well, my husband taught me a lot about money.
Your husband taught you, that's awesome. Pretty rare, actually.
I know, right?
How many your parents taught you about money? And how many you just kind of figured it out? Right? And so what was the messages that you kind of grew up with? Like I grew up in a farm in Nebraska, so we grew up, you have to work really hard, right? And that took a long time to, get that defragged out of my brain. Right? I still work, I still do a lot of stuff, but it's a different thing. It's a different energy around it. What else did you hear? What were your messages around money?
Save it.
If work was fun, call it play. What else? If you're rich, you're greedy. Oh, and rich people are bad.
Yeah, they'll hurt you.
Oh, isn't it? No, being rich is a choice what you do with your money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Do you know what though? I'm in the cannabis business. It does. It actually does now. It's really good. Yes, I'm trying to do it. Yeah, so I kind of teased my Nebraska family. I said, I'm going back to farming. So we're about to order some greenhouses in Hawthorne, Nevada. We own the only licenses in Hawthorne, Nevada. We're doing greenhouses and outdoor grows. Wow. We're the only outdoor and indoor greenhouse in Nevada right now. So it's super cool. But they put us out by the bombers by Area 51, so just in case we don't figure it out. They put us in the middle of nowhere anywhere. So I just want you to think, like, really, your energy and activity around money, it happens all the time. Actually, all day long. If you really tracked it, how many financial interactions are you in during the day? Whether that's buying coffee, that's putting gas in your car, that's paying a mortgage, right? You're doing it all the time. What's interesting about it is that there's no education about money. Like at most, maybe in 6th or 7th grade, you learned how to balance a checkbook. I think that was like a little personal finance class, like for 2 minutes you took, right? But they don't teach you anything about money. Is that true? And even now, like my son is in school in Florida getting an accounting and finance degree, and he always texts me from his class. He's like, Mom, they don't teach anything that you teach. I said, I know, I got a finance degree too. And what I'm teaching you is how to be an entrepreneur and a wealth builder. And what you're taught in school is how to get a job, right? And I always say, those who are good at MBA, it's a massive bad attitude. Come on, that was well, here's what's interesting about an MBA. What's an MBA going to get you as an entrepreneur? Nothing. What is it? Right? What's it designed to do? get you a bigger job because you have extra 3 letters, right? So I'm not knocking education, we all need it, but I think those of us that are successful, like I'm the same, like you were with Jim Rohn. I mean, I took one of the last of Zig Ziglar's life. You know, I had an opportunity to speak with him and Julie from the stage. So, I mean, I've taken every opportunity to work with the kings and, I mean, the greatest mentors in the world. And then a lot of times they became partners, right? So I've been a partner with Bob Proctor, I've been a partner with Les Brown, been a partner with Sharon Lecter. Has Sharon come and spoke yet? She's speaking today. Oh, I'm not supposed to tell. I call her my financial mom. So mom's coming to talk to you. All right, so you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, so pull out that little card, and I studied millionaires. So my background was, again, I grew up in Nebraska, and I grew up in a big family. I always say farm families always have a lot of kids because we become the workforce, right? So we got to walk beans and road corn. If you don't know what that is, just fine. You don't ever want to know. It's just really hard work. So at 17 years old, though, I was in a room like this, and Dennis Whaley gave me the book Think and Grow Rich. Right? So then that, for those of you who haven't really read that, you need to, and I think that and my Millionaire Maker book should be annual reads.
I like it.
You're supposed to say yes.
I like it.
Because you're changing all the time. So as you change, your thinking changes, your financial situation. Those of you who are clients who've been around, you don't just have one money makeover. You're in a constant series of what are you doing to upgrade and alter what you're doing financially. So on a regular basis, I always say you want to reread Millionaire Maker, see where you are. So when you get my book, read chapter 2, and it's going to give you what's called a gap analysis. And the gap is where are you now and where do you want to be financially. And then we have a whole process to take you through how to increase your income and how to reduce your taxes. Californians, I mean, you live in a beautiful place, but you overpay taxes. It is, between California and New York, your taxation system is very, very difficult. It's challenging. So for most Californians, like Northern California, we do this tax return review. I got $72,000 back for a teacher in Sacramento. $128,000 for a naval officer right here. Right? So we're not talking little bits of money, like a couple thousand. For most Californians, you're going to get, and it's not me that does it. So I'm really the facilitator, and I have awesome CPAs, I have awesome estate and tax planners, and so you'll be working directly with them, and they'll redo your taxes. And the way that it works is they'll do it for free, they'll show you how much money they can get for you, then you have to pay for the return to be done again, because they're going to fix it. Make sense? On average, Californians get 30, 40 grand back, just so you know. So if you say you don't have money, you just paid it to the wrong bank account. The temporarily borrowing. So since 17, I got a finance degree, and then I studied millionaires, I studied millionaire families. So if you look at this, there is a system to becoming a millionaire. And I put it into this quadrants, and I put it in an infinity loop. Mainly the infinity loop is because money never ends, right? And you're gonna, the minute you walk on the planet, whether your parents knew what to do or not, and the minute you walk off the planet, and I love doing legacy planning for families, because the two biggest problems, I was gonna say, the infinity is about, I mean, you're gonna have to do with money. You can continue to do it unconsciously, or you can get with it, right? So it's a choice. To sometime you've got to learn about money. And I put it in infinity loop because of that. I also put it into these quadrants. Now the truth is you have to do all of it at one time, but let me explain 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on your notes, just take some notes. And the way to probably take notes about this are what are the areas you think you need the most work on. All right, so that way when we do a money makeover and we talk, I can have your cards and we put them all together. Oh, hi. Hi, Mom. I just mentioned you. See, you just came like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sharon Lecter just walked in. Okay.
So making money is your first, right? So making money is absolutely critical. And what we're taught is how to get a job, not how to make money as an entrepreneur. And then keeping money, investing money, and do it with a team. Now the truth is when you make money, you're going to make money inside of a company. And as you make money, you need to pay yourself first, which means put it into an investment account. All right? So that's the cycle. Now let's get into some details. The system was never broke. It was built this way. So in 1933, Jekyll Island, 7 of the wealthiest families in the world went to Jekyll Island, and they formed what we now know as the financial system, which then was the outpour of the educational system, which was the pharmaceuticals, the media. Like the system we now know it isn't broke. It was designed in this way in 1933. Now the cool thing prior to 1933 is that all of us have some genetics, some ancestry of entrepreneurialism, because up until 1933, we were all entrepreneurs, right? We didn't have this job thing going on. So here's how it was designed, right? To get a W-2 income, right? And it's really interesting because look at this number. How many of you make more than $67,000 in the United States? Right? So you are in the top 25% of the wealthy in the United States. Isn't that exciting? How many of you feel wealthy at $67,000, especially in San Diego, right? And then you are taxed to pieces, usually 40-50%, right? Sometimes in California, like the naval officer I was telling you about, he was being taxed at 56%. This year his tax will be about 9%. Big difference, right? And again, that's just team and strategy. And so then in 1978, this lovely thing was formed called a 401k. Now some 401ks are interesting, but most of them, you know, they're designed as a vehicle for you to invest through the company. That right? So here's what's the insanity about it. Can I have a little? Oh, there we go. You make money, you're taxed, you give your money back to the same company that gave you the money, and somebody maybe that makes $50,000 or $60,000 is in charge of your 401k. They have the legal right to borrow against it. Welcome to Enron. Welcome to United Pilots Union. Right? The pilots all got cut because they over-leveraged that money. So I'm not saying don't do it. It's just interesting. I think too many people think that's their only way to have a retirement. Right? And then this is where I'm talking. They go on vacation, and Americans only get 2 weeks. Right? Most of the other countries. So we have clients in every country but Antarctica. Penguins tend to not want to really show up to workshops and stuff. So, I mean, we've taught in South Africa. We have a large contingent in, obviously, Canada, Australia. We're soon to be in Mexico, right, Carlos? Carlos, you're talking. We're going to Mexico and Brazil, right? We're now going to teach this. Should we tell them our new fun thing? Well, I've invited you to join. So this week, I do a lot of shark tanking, right? Sharking, which means I buy, companies. So how many of you heard of the Oakland Raider fan base? You know, how many of you watched the Oakland Raider game? Oh, yeah. With the crazy black and gray and white and the violator and the gorilla. So there's actually, it's a company that organizes a fan base. So a partner and I just bought 20% of it this week. And is it Carlo? And the number one culture in the fan base is Hispanic and Mexican. So this big guy back here, wouldn't he be a perfect, extra person to promote this?
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to ride up. See, I know you're going to start on your pink bike, but then we're going to get Harley to sponsor us, right? And then you're going to ride a Harley. It's going to be fun. So just watch what Carl's going to do. We're going to have fun. It's going to be so crazy. All right. So my point is, most places in the world just don't go on a 2-week vacation. Now, here's the other thing. Debt and credit cards are bad, right? Most people are taught, go get out of debt, go out. And I want you to write this down. Debt is a cost of money. Right? So if you have a car loan and it's 1% or a house loan at 3 or 4%, why would you pay those totally off when you can find places to invest at 10, 12, right? Yep. I just cashed out of a gas and I made 22%. So you can do other kinds of things with your money, whatever that is for you. And we'll teach you a whole series of money rules. Do you want my money rules, that whole chapter on money rules? So if you want that, write it on your little wish list. Yeah. Okay? Because most of you don't have money rules, and women, you don't have charity rules. And the reason I say that is women tend to give all of their time and their services and products away. They either reduce the cost. There's no reason why women are making less money than men. It's because you don't ask for it. You don't ask for it. I can guarantee, Sharon and I are not on the low end of the food chain when it comes to our counterparts in the men department, right? So there's a very interesting relationship around debt and credit. And then this is the weirdest word. So retirement is an agricultural word, not a financial word. It means to put cattle to pasture to die. So that's the goal of this whole journey that you're being taught to live. Isn't that odd, right? And then this is the big one. If you file taxes April 15th. Right? So this is what we're taught, this is how everybody lives, and it's not just the United States, it's worldwide. There's different words and different vernacular for it, but it's the same thing. Now, here's what we're going to teach you. This is how the rich get rich, and this isn't just Loral's series, how we do it, right? Alec knows it, Sharon knows it, and most of the speakers around here, this is how we live. Our companies make money. So actually write this down, this is an easy way to think about it. Companies make money, individuals get taxed. Right? Make sense? So, part of your wish list is we have a corporate specialist that can give you a review. S Corp, C Corps, LLCs, limited partnerships, and trusts. So those are tax advantage vehicles, right? So your money's made inside the company, and then get this: 81,000 pages of tax code, so you get to deduct, right? And I think actually just right now, Trump just put, the administration put in, it's not just him, a whole aviation part. So I think it's actually probably up to about 82,000 pages of tax code. And see, if you're filing your own taxes or doing TurboTax or H&R Block, I mean, those are all nice and helpful, but you don't know the code, right? You might be using 10 or 15 items. You're not even using the tax code. Isn't this awesome?
Yeah.
Right? So it's huge to learn about this and get it done right. Solo 401k. So instead of a 401k, your company, right here, because you're going to own one of these, it's going to have its own retirement plan, its own qualified plan. I hate that word. I got to delete that from my vocabulary totally. Solo 401ks and Roths. So Roths are tax-free, tax-deferred accounts. So a lot of our clients, so like when their kids are born, right, they go work for the companies and they have Roths, right? And you can put 6,000, 7,000 as the new number away every year. So if all you did for your kids is say 6,000 a year, it's $500 a month. If that's all you did for 20 years, you make that kid's a millionaire. Invested about 8%, not even a 10. Right? So it's not difficult, it's just different because most of you don't have the behavior to do it. Right? And then we don't go on vacation, we go on business trips. Right? Right? So here's a business trip. So for example, I have some Air Force fighter pilots. I always love telling their story. I always brag about them. They're all over videos now. And then he's now become a United captain. So they're making probably $400,000 or $500,000, right, in W-2 income. And we need them to do what they did for the Air Force, and now he's got a huge job. So when they became clients, we redid their taxes, so they had over about $100,000 as tax return review back. But they didn't have any deductions. See, over here, you have no legal reason to deduct your car, to go on a business trip, to, come do a workshop like this, come do any education. This is all tax deductible, by the way. And so they love to drink wine. I said, well, what if you started one of these companies and you actually built a company around your hobby, your habit? And so there is this cool company, it's called Direct Sellers, it's one of the largest wine clubs in the world. So they joined that, which is, like I say, a simple little MLM. So fast forward, now they actually, it's happening, that started last year, they take people on wine tours through Sonoma and Napa. So they charge $500 for a very private wine tour. And now they have a website where they actually sell all sorts of wine stuff, glasses, carry cases, openers, all sorts of stuff. So now they took their hobby, they have a company, they legally are making money, and now they get to, they do all of their deductions. They have solo 401k, they just had a baby. Her baby, Skylar, is on the pictures of their new website. So she's a little model, so she has to have a job. She has to get paid. Now she has a Roth. You guys see how this works?
Yeah.
How many of you, this is interesting and you need to start living like this? We call it living corporate life. Debt and credit cards are crucial, and we're entering this new era, right? When you watch me speak later in the year, I'm going to add a whole nother third era, which is called digital currency. So how many of you have a wallet? I mean, like a digital currency crypto wallet.